Hi there, and welcome to this 39th live tech Q&A session where you can ask me some tech related questions. Hi there, this is Ranjit, and welcome to this 39th live tech Q&A session where you can ask me some tech related questions, and hopefully I'll be able to answer them. And also, if you are on Twitter, it's a good idea to follow me on Twitter at the rate Geekyranjit, because throughout the week I keep posting stuff on Twitter. So let's start this session, and the first question I'll take is from Kamesh Kotwani, and it goes something like, a hearty good evening, sir. Good evening to you also. My question is why why Intel, which is said to be the giant of processors, does not make processors for cell phone, or if they make, on which name do they make? Actually, Kamesh, Intel does make some mobile processors, but they are not that successful. The reason for that is that they were concentrating a lot on desktop processors, and very late they went into mobile processors. Some of their Atom processors are used in mobile phones, but they are not hugely popular because of the higher power drain and the heating issues. For example, if you recall, the Lenovo K900 used a Intel processor, and also some of the Asus phones have used, and it's said that Intel is going to come out with a new mobile processor, and by the end of 2014 we might see some tablets and some smartphones coming with Intel processor. Again, it'll only the market will decide if it will be successful or not. As of now, Intel is not successful with the mobile processor, but they are working hard, and if they can get the power to performance ratio right, it can be successful. Second question is second question. He says, is overclocking of CPU harmful? What can be the harms made to the PC if we overclock it? I'm assuming you are using a desktop PC. You can overclock it. For example, I'm using a Intel Core i7 processor that is clocked at what, 3.5 or 3.4 gigahertz is the default frequency, and I have overclocked it to 4.2 gigahertz, and it's working fine. The only thing you need to make sure is your motherboard should be nice quality ones, because when you overclock your processor, it generally puts a lot of stress on all other components. Also, make sure that you don't use the stock fan that comes with your processor. The stock fan is okay for the regular processor clock speeds, but when you overclock, it generates a lot more heat. So I would suggest that go with the aftermarket cooler. For example, I'm using a Cooler Master Hyper 212 or something. For the past almost 3 years, my PC is always overclocked and it's running fine. So if you can just go with the aftermarket cooler, you can overclock. And again, don't go just bonkers with overclocking. For example, let's say your default clock frequency is 3.5 gigahertz, jump it up to 3.6. And let the system run for a day and see if there are any stability issues. If it's nothing, then you can go a little bit higher. So it's not a good idea of directly jumping from 3 gigahertz to 4 gigahertz. If you do like that, it might crash. But if you do in steps like this, it can be stable. I hope it answers your question. So let me take one more question now. This is by Ashad Ahmed. Which is the best camera phone under rupees 15,000? Ashad, it's very difficult to answer because I haven't reviewed every Android phone or every Windows phone under the 15,000 price bracket. But to give you an idea, the phones that I have tested, amongst them, the Lumia 720 has a very good camera, though in video recording it's only up to 720p. Under Android phones, the HTC Desire 501 that I reviewed about a month ago has fabulous camera, I would say. But overall, the performance of that phone is not that great. But the camera is pretty good. Also, Galaxy Core has a decent camera. That's for around 12,500. If any of you guys know better and smartphones under the 15,000 price bracket for good cameras, do give your suggestions. This is by Ahmad. Sir, I'm looking for a phone under rupees 55,000. Okay, 55,000 is a huge budget. You could get almost any device for even the iPhone 5s. iPhone 5s is a very good device, but I wouldn't recommend it as of now, because hopefully in the next 3-4 months we'll be seeing the iPhone 6. You can go with this HTC Desire. Sorry, this is the HTC One M8. It's pretty nice phone. And I liked it so much that I'm using this one as my primary phone now. Only con is the camera is not that great. And the Sony Xperia's Z2 is also going to come out, and then by next week it should be there, so you can also have a look at that. Second, he asked me, can you tell me about the Windows 8.1 update? Yes, the Windows 8 update is out, but it's for developers. The update for end users hasn't come out. It's going to come out next month, and I'm not going to make a update video about it right now, but hopefully by next month, many of the new Windows Phone 8.1 devices will be launching, and I will review Windows 8.1 with one of those new devices. OTG cable, is it supported on Nokia Lumia 525? No. As far as I recall, OTG cable is not supported on Lumia 525. Okay, let me take one more question. This is by Sohail Sardar. Hi Ranjit sir, good to see you again. Thank you. And I have three questions for you. Here it goes. One is, what is CyanogenMod? CyanogenMod is nothing but a ROM. It's kind of a custom ROM, and you can install it if, but again, you need to have your bootloader unlocked for most of these devices. You can go to CyanogenMod, just Google about it. They also have a website, and CyanogenMod has ROMs for almost most of the popular Android phones. Second, will it be worthwhile flashing CyanogenMod on my Moto G? It's only up to you, because I don't feel there is any point of installing CyanogenMod on Moto G, because already the Moto G, the experience that you have with the Moto G is very close to the stock Android. Generally, users install these ROMs like CyanogenMod, etc., to get that stock experience. For example, I know many people who like to install it on Samsung phones because they don't like the TouchWiz experience and they like the stock experience. So on Moto G, I don't think so. It's a good idea. Third question, I was able to record calls on Moto G when it was on Jelly Bean 4.3 using auto call recorder, etc. But after the update to 4.4.2, that is KitKat, it stopped working. What should I do? Actually, I asked this question to Motorola support, and they did reply me on a thread. Go to my Twitter account, go to my favorites. I have favorited the tweet that I got from Motorola. It links to their forums, and they have linked one application that does work with the call recording on the Moto G even after the KitKat update. So I hope that helps you. Amarjeet saying, this is a question by him. How much difference in performance does ART runtime make than Dalvik? Actually, I did try it about a month ago on my Nexus 5. To be frank, I did not notice a much difference because already the Nexus 5 is pretty fast phone. But one thing I do notice is that when you convert it to ART, the apps do take a little bit of more storage. And second, please make a video on what's on your Android phone. Yes, I will do that. I just started using this HTC One M8 as my primary phone, and yes, I have installed a lot of apps, so I will make a video about it. What apps am I using to enhance the experience on this phone? Probably by next week or so. This is by Aishat Ahmed. Good evening, sir. Which is the best phone for gaming under rupees 15,000 with good battery life? Good gaming, good battery life, I would suggest the Moto G under the 15,000 mark. You can get the 16 GB variant for 14,000, and you can install a lot of games, and many of the games run fine on that. You can check out the gaming review that I did with the Moto G for more info. Just search on my channel. This is by Alex. Good evening. Every time I connect my mobile to Wi-Fi connection, the apps automatically start updating. How to make those updates manual, as it consumes unnecessarily data usage in the background? Alex, just go to the App Store, Google App Store, and there is a setting. By default, it will be auto update, will be check marked. Just disable that, and then it will not automatically update it. Then you can manually update whatever apps you want. Second question he asked is, I have been using a TP-Link TLWR 740, and that's a basic Wi-Fi router, if I recall. When my system is connected through broadband landline connection, the internet speed is around 5 megabits per second. But when it's connected via Wi-Fi router, the speed is around 3 to 4 megabits. What could be done to maintain the same speed? Alex, the Wi-Fi actually depends upon the range. If you are further away from the router, for example, the best Wi-Fi you might get for a budget router like that is within 10 feet. If you go beyond that, then the speed might fall a little bit. Again, you can't expect too much from very budget oriented routers. Even high end routers, for example, I'm using the Linksys AC 1900, and if I go about let's say 30 feet away from the router, the speed falls down. So that's the nature of Wi-Fi. The further you go, there is a lot of interference. For example, if you live in an urban area, and that can drop the speeds. Again, you don't have as it's a budget router, you don't have 5 gigahertz band. But if there is a lot of congestion around, particularly if you live in an urban area or an apartment, you'll have a lot of congestion. There, 5 gigahertz bands help. Let me take one more questions. This is again by Amarjeet. Can we play games by placing its .oov or data files on OTG pen drive? No, sadly, no, that is not possible. But you can root your Android phones, and if your phone has SD card, then you can install a lot of games on the SD card. But again, you have to root your device to do that. Jopin Das, hi sir, eagerly waiting for your reply. I hate the Moto G. Okay, great. So around 12,000 budget, can I buy the Samsung Galaxy Core? Yes, definitely go for the Galaxy Core. That is the suggested device I am suggesting people around that price band. OTG cable support on the Core. It's been a long time since I have tested this Galaxy Core, over 6 months. To be frank, I just do not recall if the Galaxy Core does support OTG cable or not. So if any of you guys are using a Samsung Galaxy Core, and if you have a USB OTG cable, check whether does it work or not. I'm a little bit doubtful it supports or not. But again, if any of you are using what do you say Galaxy Core, just let Jopan Das know in the comment section. This is by Aditya Mahadwani. I'm a big fan of yours. Thank you. I have bought the Moto G because you said it's the best phone under 15,000. Question, which phone should I go for? Lumia 520 or the Nokia X, or any other phone you suggest around 8,000? I want to buy it for my mom. Okay, great question. Don't go for the Nokia X. Don't recommend it. Go for the Lumia 520, because as you told, you're going to use it for your mom is going to use it. The build quality is nice. The phone is still a pretty fast phone, so go for the Lumia 520. So let me take one more question. This is by Jackson Liner. A very interesting question. Hi, sir. I love your videos. Sir, my friend is saying that the LG L90, I have the LG L90, is better than the Xperia M2. I also have the Xperia M2 and the Moto G, because he has one. Do you agree with him? And sir, do you know how to upgrade from KitKat to Jelly Bean? Because my phone Galaxy S4 is simply crashing, and it is not the problem when I was in Jelly Bean. Okay, let's first talk about Xperia M2 versus the LG L90. I would say both the phones, actually, in terms of performance, both perform very similarly. There are some pros with the LG L90, and there are some pros with this Xperia M2. So you can't just say that one is better or the other. For example, the LG L90 has this IR blaster and this unique knock-on code using which you can unlock the device and do stuff like that. It's actually lighter than Xperia M. In terms of build quality, I would say the Xperia M feels a little bit more premium to hold than the LG L90. But again, if you saw my gaming video, the Xperia M2 does tend to heat up a little bit. Also, I was not able to move the apps to the SD card on the Xperia M2, but I was able to do that on the LG L90. But again, LG L90 is also not a perfect phone. It does not have the auto brightness sensor. USB OTG support is also not there. And again, both these phones are QHD phones, whereas the Moto G has a proper 720p HD screen, and the screen on the Moto G is better than both these phones. So in my opinion, considering the price to performance ratio, I would say the LG L90 goes ahead, because You are spending just 4,000 rupees more on the Xperia M2 for nothing more, just the Sony branding and the styling. If you are with that, yes. Regarding the camera, yes, both have 8 megapixel camera and both are better than the Moto G's camera. And in the camera department, the Xperia M2 goes slightly ahead than the LG L90 and even the Moto G. But definitely, overall, the Moto G is a fabulous phone. The biggest con with the Moto G, if you have seen my review, is the call quality. If you're a person who does not make a lot of voice calls on the phone, then definitely I would say go with the Moto G and else. But if you want additional functionality like that remote control, etc., then you can also have a look at the LG N90. I hope it helps. Let me take one more question. This is by Man of Punjabi. Love your videos. Thank you. My question is, I have a Dell 15.6-inch laptop. I've connected to a LG TV via HDMI. I've noticed that the laptop overheats, and after using it for an hour, I see loss of frames in gaming and while watching videos. What can I do to solve this problem? A USB cooler? Thanks in advance. Yes, what you have said is your laptop is overheating. That is due to the fact that now, as you have connected your laptop to your television, probably your television is a full HD television. That is, it's outputting 1080p, and that is putting a little bit of stress on your laptop, and that's why it's heating. Yes, you can try a cooler and see if it helps. That should solve the problem. It's that droppage of frame is due to overheating. Hence, your GPU and CPU are just throttling down. Hence, you are seeing that drop frames. Sorry. This is by Whipple. Sir, please suggest me a phone between the Nokia Lumia 1320 and the Sony Xperia T2 Ultra. My priority is a good camera. Whipple, I haven't tested the Lumia 1320, so I can't comment about it. I'll comment about the T2 as you're talking about the camera quality. The Xperia T2 camera outdoors, I would say it does very good. But again, it's the same problem even with this Xperia M2. In low lighting conditions and an artificial light, the camera of the Xperia T2 Ultra is not that great. It's a little bit weak. I can't comment about the Lumia 1320 because I haven't tested it. Let me take your second question. Also, please suggest between the Galaxy Grand 2 and the Xperia M2. But I don't like the build quality of Samsung. You have already answered your question yourself. You don't like the Samsung device? Yes, then you can go with the Xperia M2. But again, the Xperia M2 I feel is a little bit overpriced device for what do you say, a Sony is charging. This is by Vasant Verma. I want to buy a smartphone on a budget of rupees 10,000 to 18,000. Okay, let's start from the lower end. About 11-12,000. You can go for the Galaxy Core. For 12,500, you can get the Moto G. If you don't make a lot of voice calls, simply just go for the Moto G. It's the best, I would say. In the under 20,000, it's the best if you do not make a lot of voice calls. Voice call quality is not good on the Moto G. Further, if we move, you can also have a look at this LG L90. The processor is a quad-core processor, same as Moto G, everything. The voice call quality is superb. I've been using my secondary SIM on this one. So this is also a good choice. And if you are a little bit more style conscious, then you can also have a look at this Xperia M2. It's selling for what, around 19,500 or something like that. But in terms of features, it's very similar to Moto G and the LG L90. I hope it helps you. Let me just take some more questions. Also, guys, if you're watching this video live, I'll appreciate if you can click the like button. That's the only way of me knowing that you like these sessions or not. So let me take one more questions. Srikanth Shana also asked a similar question. I need a phone that costs nearly around 20,000. Please tell me a good device. Just as now I suggested the devices, you can have a look at that. Also include Grand 2 because that is also a decent phone. And if you can wait, actually by next week, this HTC Desire 816 is going to launch. And I feel HTC is going to price it around 20 to 23,000 or something like that. And I feel that is a very good phone. I'll try to review it as soon as possible. So if you can wait for a week, definitely wait. And I feel if the performance of the HTC Desire 816 is good, then it might be one of the best phones in that pricing. This is my Max. Sir, I have a question for you. iPhone 4S is 3 years old and it's still getting iOS updates from Apple. Then why is Samsung Galaxy S3 stuck to Jelly Bean 4.3 and it's just only 22 months old? Why is Samsung not pushing KitKat updates? Again, do notice Apple produces just what? One? Now they are one. Actually, Apple just produced one phone per year, and now they are doing two with iPhone 5C and 5S. So, but Samsung, if you recall, in a year they produce more than 20 phones. So yes, it's yeah they can support S3, but in Android generally most of these phones do not get updates after 18 months or something like that. So yes, it sucks. That's the way it is. But again, the iPhone 4S is also at the end of its life. I'm not very sure how. Yes, it might run the next iOS 8 whenever it's released, but I don't know how well it might run. For example, the iPhone 4 does run iOS 7, 7.1, but the performance is not that great. So yes, it's a big issue with these Android phones. If you want Android phones that get a lot of update, try to stick with the Nexus devices. They generally get a lot more update. And even after Google stops giving the updates, the community is so big that there are a lot of people who will give custom ROMs for that. I hope it helps. This is by Anmol Jain. Sir, do you think BlackBerry Z10 is a good buy under rupees 18,000? Anmol, I haven't tested the BlackBerry Z10, but one of my friend bought it when it was launched for at 39,000, and I asked him this question, and he says yes. If you are okay with the BlackBerry OS and at the current price 18,000 or so, he says it's a very good bet. But again, you have to get used to the BlackBerry OS. Also, which phone do you think is the best under rupees 30,000 for a business purpose? For business purpose, I would say you should have good battery life. So still, the Note 2 is decent enough. But if you can spend a little bit more, or even the LG G Pro, which is a phablet, is a good phone. And if you can spend, I don't know, the Note 3 Neo, which I reviewed last time I checked. About 2 weeks ago, there was a deal going on. It was available for 31,500 or 32. So you can also have a look at that device. All these phones have fabulous battery life. This is by Joab Das. Hello, good evening. Which one is lag-free device? Galaxy S5 or iPhone 5s? I would say the iPhone 5s. The Galaxy S5 is also almost lag-free 99% of the time. But sometimes I'll say, very occasionally, you see that TouchWiz animations lag a little bit on the Galaxy S5. That's not the case with the iPhone 5s. It's fluid. Which one is faster, Snapdragon 800 or Apple A7? Apple A7 is way faster. And if you go to my Twitter account, again, I have favorited this article by Anand Tech. And actually, the Apple A7 architecture is so fast, it's almost 2 to 2.5 times faster than the Snapdragon 800 architecture. You can check out that article. Go to my Twitter account, go to my favorites. You'll find that article by Anand Tech. Ashwin Kumar, sir, I like your videos. When will Play Edition devices start in India and how much will they cost? Ashwin, I doubt Google might launch Play Edition devices anytime in India because if from the reports that I read, even in US, except that the Play Edition devices that Google is sending are very little. So I doubt anytime officially it will come to India. This is by Fermento Francus. Motorola is about to announce a new phone on 13th May, expected to be Moto E. So, what are your thoughts? Yes, it's going to be supposed to be a what do you say, budget-oriented device, sporting a 4.3-inch screen, a dual-core processor, and from pricing, Motorola hasn't announced the pricing. Rumors are that it will be priced below 10,000. So I'm also excited about it. Finally, we'll have a very good phone under the 10,000 price bracket. I just hope that Motorola fixes the call quality issues that we were having in the Moto G on this Moto E. Definitely, I'll try to review it when it's launched. Anand Sharma, hi sir, my dad wants to buy a new phone. Which will you prefer and which is better, the Galaxy S5 or the iPhone 5s? Again, Anand Sharma, you need to decide your dad is okay with which OS, Android or iOS, because they are a little bit different. iPhone, the iOS is very simple. If your father is new to smartphones, then he will like the iPhone 5X experience, and it's a very fluid phone. But if your father likes to customize things, then the Galaxy S5 is also a decent choice. This is by Call one dude, cool dude. Okay, I'm planning to buy a new phone for around rupees 36,000. The recently discounted iPhone 5 C is available in that range. I want to know, is that a good phone to consider? Are there any other recommendations? He says he does not have any worse preference. Screen size 4 inches to 5.5 would do. I plan on keeping the phone at least 1.5 to 2 years. Okay. Yes, you can have a look at the iPhone 5C. Personally, I haven't tested it, but from what I heard, it's very similar to the iPhone 5, what we have, but now it's just a polycarbonate body instead of the metal body that iPhone 5 had. So performance is still nice. If you are okay with Android, my personal suggestion would be check out the LG G2. It's a fabulous phone, fast phone with a very good camera also in that price range around 35,000. So you can have a look at the iPhone 5C or the LG G2. So it's almost 25 minutes. So I'll be ending this session in about 5-6 minutes because I've got to go somewhere out. Let's take the next question. This is by Amrich Sinha. Hello, sir. I find your videos to be very informative. Thank you. My question is, considering the price and overall performance among Moto G and LG L90, which one would you prefer? My requirement is a bit of calling, mailing, and basic stuff. Not much of a gamer. Thank you. I would suggest that, as you're told that calling is also pretty important to you, then I would suggest the LG L90 to you. The battery life is also very good. The display is nice, and definitely, as I mentioned, the call quality is nice. So overall, and it also has that IR blaster if you like that. Just check out the videos that I made about the LG L90. I have a playlist, all the videos I have posted. So yes, go for the LG L90. That might be a better choice for you. Prashant Gupta also asked a similar question. He's asking about Xperia M2 versus LG L90. And he says, in terms of camera, battery life, and style. Okay, let's talk about the camera. Both have the LG L90 and this Xperia M2 have 8 megapixel camera. Outdoors, both of these phones take very good pictures. I'll post the camera review of this M2 tomorrow. Uh, Internally, indoor shots and artificial lights, I would say both are not spectacular, both are weak, but the Xperia M2 has a slight edge in indoor and low lighting photography compared to the LG L90. Now, coming to battery life, the battery life is slightly better on the LG L90, but that doesn't mean the battery life on the Xperia M2 is bad. It's just that the LG L90, I would say, the battery life is approximately about 15% more. And regarding style, yes, regarding style, the style factor, the Xperia M2 is more stylish device. But again, if you notice, the Xperia M2 is significantly very larger to hold. It's actually even larger than the Nexus 5, as you can see. So I don't know what Sony did. Why did they make it so big? Because it has just a 4.8 inch screen. It's a pretty big device for a 4.8 incher. So you need to decide. Let me take this by this is by Mohammad Ibrahim. Hi, Ranjit sir, I'm a big fan of you. Thank you. I'm planning to buy a smartphone. My requirements are big screen, excellent gameplay and speed. My friends are suggesting me the Note 3. Does the Note 3 meet my requirements? Need your opinion? Yes, regarding the big screen, yes, the Note 3 is a fabulous. It has that 5.7-inch screen. Even has that S Pen. And regarding gaming, here in India, we are getting that Exynos version, which will work with 95% of the games, I would say. But some of the games, 5% of the games might not work. Regarding speed, I did not have any issue. And also the Note 3, the Exynos version, while doing heavy gaming, it tends to heat up a little bit. But if you are mostly in the AC environment when you're doing gaming, that does not matter. So overall, yes, it's a nice phone. Battery life is also good, and a lot of my friends are using the Note 3, and most of them, I would say, almost all of them are pretty satisfied with the Note 3. So yes, it's a nice phone for a large screen size phone. This is by Rupak. Sir, which phone is more powerful? Moto G, LG L90, Sony Xperia M2. Actually, all the phones are similar because the processor, GPU, and the RAM are the same on all the phones. All these phones are running on the Snapdragon 400 chipset. That is a quad-core processor. So in terms of performance, I felt all of them are equal. This is by Praveen Subramaniam. So it's been 30 minutes. This will be the last question. Can the Moto X standby drain issue be fixed by the firmware update or an Android update? Praveen, actually, the Moto X used to have very good standby battery life, but with this latest update, that is the KitKat update, the standby battery life was bad. So yes, I'm hoping with the next firmware update, Motorola should be able to fix it. So guys, it's just over 30 minutes. I'll be ending this session because I need to go out somewhere. We'll be doing this again next week. That is 13th of Tuesday. The show will be done 95% of the time, but 95% I'm sure that will be done. But again, during that time, that is around 13th of May, around that time I might be traveling. So again, I'll announce if the show will be done on 13th or not. So again, stay tuned on Twitter. I'll be posting about it there. And again, thanks for joining this 39th live tech Q&A session. Again, we'll be doing this next week at 7 p.m. And I hope that you'll be able to join me. Thank you.